welcome to episode 28 of the Crochet Luna Vlogcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from the San Diego area in Southern California, where it is almost the end of January, but I still want to wish you a happy new year. I hope your holidays went well and that you enjoyed time with family and friends and that you got a little bit of rest, I hope. I did get a little bit of rest. It wasn't that much, but it was a good time. I have no complaints. The name of this episode is New Beginnings, and I think it's very appropriate for so many reasons. And so I want to say welcome to everybody who is a new subscriber to the channel, and to all returning subscribers. Thank you so much for coming to spend this time with me. And so let's get started. Okay, so what do you guys think about the hair? I've cut it even shorter. I'm trying to get to the point where I've cut off almost all the hair that had the dye in it, and I'm doing pretty well. It is quite a different look for me. It's taken a little bit of getting used to, but I really am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the journey. I want to start by talking about my hair because my hair has always been one of those things about me that I've had a love-hate relationship all my life. My natural hair is coarse and curly, and forever it was a battle to deal with my hair. I always had these experiences excuse me. I always had these experiences when I would go get my hair cut where the hairdressers or the stylists wanted to chemically straighten my hair because they said it would make my life so much better to have straight hair. And I never did that. I never thought that that was going to be the solution to my issues. And so for many years, I just stopped going to get my hair cut. And so my hair would just grow, and it would be long, and it would be crazy. And so when I started dyeing my hair, which was when I was 18, because I started going gray on top in my late teens, early 20s, it was always this thing where I'd have, I had this hair to deal with, I had to dye it, and it was to the point where I always fantasized about just shaving my head. And I thought, I'm just going to shave my head and walk around bald. I think that would make my life so much better. So I always had these, I hated my hair. I went through periods of time where I hated my hair. Then there was times where I would embrace the curls. And so I'm now at this point at 46 years old where I feel good about my hair. I really like it. And the response hasn't always been positive. The last time I went to get my hair cut, I showed the hairstylist a picture of what I wanted, and she said to me, "Why do you want to look like a boy?" And I said, "I don't think that's what I'm going for." She said, "Oh, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to make you look beautiful." And I said, "No, I want you to cut it like the picture." It's the struggle of my whole life trying to get people to deal with my hair the way I want to deal with my hair. I went back a couple weeks later to get a little bit of a trim, and someone else was there, and he says to me, "Oh, you're gonna dye that hair, right?" And I said, "No, I'm not dyeing it. I'm actually growing it out because I'm growing out I'm actually growing out the gray because I'm wanting to go gray." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I want to." Anyway, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I wanted to use it as a starting point for the discussion on diversity and racism in the fibro community that has been going on for the last 3 weeks. One of the things that was important for me to talk about was representation and visibility, because we as people of color, we love to see ourselves represented in the industries that we participate in. So we're talking about yarn, we're talking about crochet. It is with great joy that we see those things, that we see, you know, Black models or other women of color in magazines, but we don't get a lot of that. And so I remember I saw an episode of the Quirky Monday podcast with Caleisha. And if you have not subscribed to her podcast, I would urge you to do so. And I've said this in the past, it's nothing to do with what's going on right now. She puts out a great podcast. She's a accomplished knitter and crocheter and a designer, and she has a lot to offer, and I love her point of view and her take on things, and she's a very creative person, so I would recommend her because of those things. And she also happens to be a person of color. Well, she had an episode where she was talking about, and I wrote the person's name down, so give me a second, I have to find it. She was talking about the holiday edition of Vogue Knitting that had an article about a designer whose name is Nasinimad Diodi. I believe that's how you say it, and I apologize if I've butchered that, which I probably have because it's one of my gifts. And his Instagram is Nasat Nation, and I will put that here. And looking back, and even when I was watching the episode, I was so excited about that as well. And I'm not even a knitter. I don't own any issues of Vogue Knitting, and I was ready to go buy it. He happens to be a crochet designer who makes these amazing crochet jackets. And I could see how much joy and how happy she was to see him there, because not only is he a Black crocheter, but he also had crocheted items for Erica Badu. Seeing Caleisha's happiness about the fact that she was seeing this person in a knitting magazine highlights the issue of visibility and representation in our fiber community, because when we see people that look like us, it feels good. It feels good. It feels like we are part of this fiber community. When you don't see people of color represented, then it automatically puts you on the other side, as not being part of the group or the community. So that's why it's important to see people of color in magazines and to highlight designers of color, because there's so many of us that would love to see that, would love to see ourselves represented in a community that we partake of and we find such joy in. And also the messages that we often get, you know, as people of color, going back to the hair, is that who we are and how we present ourselves is not as good as, you know, a white representation. A white representation of beauty, you know, and I'll give you this really silly example. My husband and I used to watch American Idol all the time. I really liked that show. I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And I would say inevitably there would be like some beautiful girl of color who had this great curly hair or just had this amazing hair, right? That was not straight. And I would always say to him, just wait. The further she gets into the show, the straighter that hair is going to be. And without fail, you would see a Jordan Sparks or whatever girl was making it into the finals of American Idol with that hair straightened, and it would infuriate me. And I would say, why do they have to do that? Leave her hair alone. It was beautiful. It was curly. It was great. You know, I love to see that, but it would always happen. It would always happen that hair, that beautiful curly natural hair, would be straight. So I know it's a weird way to tie all this in, but because of the journey that I'm on with my hair, and realizing how much pain, you know, I have dealt with not embracing my hair, which is obviously a part of me and something that I have to deal with all the time, every day. How that's just a little bit, that's just like a little tiny bit um, of the experience of someone of color. And it might be the most superficial example that you will hear. And like I said, I can only speak to the experience that I have had. My world view is has been developed by my own experiences, um, and so I'm only an expert on Claudia. I'm not an expert on anybody else, and I am definitely not a spokesperson for Latina women, and I am not an educator. I feel like we all have the ability to grow and educate ourselves. The resources are out there if that is what you want to do. And as I was saying to Zelda when I met up with her this weekend, I said, you know, if we have the ability to go on the internet, on Ravelry, and search for a pattern, or go on Pinterest and spend hours looking for crochet ideas and designs and patterns, then we are more than capable of doing the work, if that's what we want to do, to expand our worldview and to expand our knowledge, and to find the definitions, to define the terms that we are not have not been accustomed to seeing. Those resources are out there, and so I would hope that if you are on that journey of growth and you do want to find out, that you will take the time to do that. And then the other thing was, you know, I thought my Instagram feed was pretty diverse. I follow many people, and one of the great things that's come out of this whole discussion is I have found so many more new amazing crochet designers that I had never even heard of. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about expanding my crochet repertoire and being exposed to new ways of making crochet beautiful. And so that's really important and really exciting for me. So, and you know, of course, if you went on any of the posts that were asking for people to share their experiences in the fiber community, and you read all those negative experiences about visiting yarn shops or going to knit nights, I could have written a lot of those posts. I've experienced them all. I mean, not all, but I've experienced certain aspects of all the things that were shared. You know, it's just something that's happened, you know, and I think a lot of times that's why I haven't been so active in trying to find that connection with my local yarn shop, because it's been difficult sometimes. And I have visited a lot of stores here in Southern California that have been it's been downright ugly, you know? So yeah, I've experienced that. What I would say is that what you read on Instagram about people of color not being treated well at a yarn shop, that's just in the fiber community, because that happens at the bank, at the grocery store, in a parking lot, at the park, in offices, in schools, in wherever. That is an experience that you can read about in this particular instance, because we're talking about the fiber community. But as a person of color, people of color deal with those experiences across the board, you know? So what surprised me so much was to hear people say, I had no idea. I had no idea that this was happening, or I had no idea that such experiences would happen in such a great place as a yarn shop. That kind of surprised me, but I don't know why. I mean, it didn't surprise me. And I think that's where this discussion has been good for so many reasons, because if you had no idea that people of color are treated differently at a yarn shop or could be treated differently at a yarn shop, you are very, very lucky to never have to experience that. So anyway, like I said, I'm happy that we can talk about these things that are so difficult, and that we can help each other grow, hopefully, and that we can see how we can make things better for people in our community, in our the crochet community is a small community, but I really feel that we can help each other to raise each other up by helping, like I said, by helping people. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I knew this was going to be difficult to talk about, but I would say find people of color who are designers and look at their work and support them, not because they're people of color, but because their work is amazing. I don't want anybody supporting me simply because I am brown. I would hope that the people that support me are supporting me because they liked what I am putting out there, the product that I'm putting out there. So that would just say to keep that in mind, because that's important. It's important that we respect people in that way. And that is what I wanted to say. I'm working on an idea that I'm hoping I will launch next week. And it is to have a list, or not, on my Instagram stories, a permanent list of crochet designers who are of color, because all the wonderful lists that have been created, Books and Cable in particular has an amazing research for finding dyers and designers of color, but I would like to focus on crochet designers of color. So my aim is to have on my Instagram feed a resource that you can go to look at some designers of color. I'm not doing dyers right now. I'm just going to focus on crochet designers, so that you can see some of the awesome designs that are out there that you might not have had any idea about. So yeah, that's it. So that's how I'm hoping to continue to contribute to the conversation. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And like I said, I apologize for not being so eloquent about it. But like I said, there are people who are very educated about these things, and their life work is in these fields. And so check out their resources. There's so many out there. So let's move on to a little bit of a health update. I had a couple setbacks. I won't lie. I had a couple of episodes where did not feel very well and could not really crochet. And we had about a week of rain that was just absolutely miserable. And I don't know what it is, but I'm not always affected by the change of weather, like from hot to cold or from cold to hot. Not always. It sometimes happens and sometimes not. But I tell you, whatever was happening with the atmosphere this past week of rain just knocked me on my butt. And I did seriously spend a couple of times just in a lot of pain. And I hesitate sometimes to post that on Instagram but sometimes I just feel like I just need to get it out and say, oh my God, I'm in pain. I I'm hurting. I sometimes just need to say that. And once I do, I feel like, okay, I've said it, I've acknowledged it, and I just have to rest and hope for the best. And so I did that, and yeah, I did feel a lot better, and I have been doing a lot better, and I've been crocheting. I've been back to crocheting, which is so, so good for my soul. I can't even tell you. It's been great, and now I'm doing a lot better, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having less of these episodes now that it looks like the weather is going to not be so horrible. We are such wusses here in San Diego. I'm telling you, it's like you put a little bit of rain out there and we're like crashing 12 cars every 5 minutes in the freeway, and just crazy stuff happens. We're just not geared for rain. So it was just, and then like my dogs, you guys, like my dogs are so spoiled. Okay, I have probably the most spoiled animals on the planet. So they didn't even want to go outside to do their business. I had to literally throw them out, okay, so that they would go out, and it was a fight. It was like a cartoon fight with four paws up against, like the door, because they just do not, they're looking at me like, you want me to do what? And I'm like, dudes, come on, you gotta take care of business. And it was like a horrible mess. It was like a horrible, horrible mess. And they were not happy with me. They were not happy. But we got through it, thank God. Although I have found out that the littlest pup, Little Bear, who is a little chihuahua, is a yarn destroyer, you guys. She has destroyed so much yarn. She's currently not even like, I literally have to move my chair away from my desk because she will jump on my desk and try to get my yarn if it's on the desk. Just the yarn. I don't understand. My other two dogs have had zero interest in yarn. This little girl is a yarn destroyer. So there's that. And then I bought tickets for a Minecraft event for my kids to go on January 5th. And we went, and it was interesting. I don't play Minecraft. My kids and my husband, they're big Minecraft people. But excuse me, I did find the official 2019 Minecraft community event pin, and it's a Minecraft llama. How freaking cute is that? I was like, I must have that. So yeah, I own a Minecraft llama. So cute. My daughter she has, her world or whatever it is, and she built me a yarn shop, and in it she has sheep that are different colors for me to have different colored yarn, she says. So she keeps like a whole little stable of sheep in this building that she built for me that she calls my yarn shop, and it's so sweet. Yeah, so we did that, and then what else happened? I went to a knit night. My goal this year is to be more involved, and I think it's even more important after this discussion on inclusion and diversity to be present at my local yarn shop. So I went to Yarning for You in San Marcos, which is my local yarn shop, and they have a knit night on Mondays, which I can never make. For whatever reason, something's always going on. I can't make it. And 3 weeks ago on a Monday, I decided I was going to go over there. And so I sent a message to confirm that they were going to have this knit night, and I showed up, and there was 10 of us, and 4 people were crocheters. So there was one lady making amigurumi, another lady making market bags, then there was me, and then there was a lady who was knitting, but she was a crocheter. And I think there's 5 of us. And then there was another lady who was knitting who said she'd been crocheting like all her life. So it was so much fun. And There was one lady that was there who was planning to go to Alaska, and she's like, I don't have anything nearly warm enough for Alaska, and I don't think I could, knit anything fast enough, because she was like leaving in like 2 days or something. So it was really pleasant. We had a really good time. There was nothing weird about it. There was like no issues. There was like 10 of us. I may have some pictures that I took. I'm not sure if I took pictures that night, but they had some beautiful yarn. This shop carries so many of the lines that you hear about, and they have a lot of local indie dyed yarn. If you ever are in the San Diego area and you want to tap into local indie dye yarn, you should definitely check out Yarning for You in San Marcos. The ladies there are super friendly. It's a mother-daughter who own the store. And like I said, I had a wonderful time. It was very, very nice and relaxing. So moving on from there, I want to talk about cowl news, because we have a ton of cowls going on. And I just want to remind you of some of the cows that are going on and some of the dates. The first cowl I want to talk about is actually 2 cows, and they're being hosted by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. The first one is the Year of the Sock 2019 cowl that she's running. It's a year-long cowl where you can make socks. The hashtag, I'll put it right down here, is Year of the Sock 2019. She's also hosting the Love Your Stash cowl, which runs through February 28th. If you want the details of these cows, jump onto her Ravelry group. She has the details, but as far as I know, it's any project that you are using stash yarn, WIPs included. So I have a couple of those that I want to enter. I have a couple of projects that I want to enter in that cow. Now, Nicole, who is the Rob Creations, she's a Canadian podcaster. She's got the Color Work cowl, and that one also ends on February 28th. I'll put the hashtag right here, which is DRC Color Work Cowl 2019. Ella of No Catchy Name and Mo of Unseen Strands are hosting the New Year, New You Mal, which is such a cute name. And it includes crochet knitting and loom knitting. And I'll read to you what I said to her, give me some information. I want to go ahead and share the cowl on my podcast. And she said, it's new to you yarn and craft items you received from Christmas or purchased in 2019. And it goes through April 22nd, so there's plenty of time. And that hashtag is New Year, New You 2019. And I will go ahead and put that right here. Also for Ella and Mo's cowl, you can post to Mo's Ravelry group and Ella's Facebook page. And I will put those links below so that you can go ahead and check them out. Now, for the Crochet Luna cowl the sock cowl that I'm hosting, which is I don't even remember my own hashtag, you guys. Give me a second. So for the sock theme cowl 2019, I'll put the hashtag right here. That is a year-long cowl as well, where I am assigning a theme for each month. So for the first quarter, we've got 3 themes already out. They are New Beginnings for January, Love is in the Air for February, and for March is Feeling Lucky. So I'm toying with the idea of releasing all 12 themes, because Hannah wants to know, because she's already done her February socks. But we'll see. Maybe check out the Ravelry group and see if I have updated with all 12 themes, or maybe I'll just give you quarter 2 themes. How about that? But yeah, that is a year-long cowl, and I will be drawing some prizes at the end of March. So that means In the April episode, I will be announcing winners for the first quarter. Then we have the most exciting cowl that I am hosting with Holly of the Yarn Journey Crochet Podcast, which is the Supernatural cowl. And I am so super excited for that cowl. You have no idea. I have not picked out any yarn, and I have no idea what pattern, but I have the most amazing prop for this cowl. So my husband and I, we're not big gift givers. We're not ones to like give each other a lot of gifts. And I was sitting in the car in December and I said to him, you know what? If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would buy these things, right? And you would think I would be saying, I'm going to buy a car. Or a house. No. I'm like, I would buy like a really good set of bed sheets, or I would buy like an air fryer. Like, it's just very practical things, right? And he says to me, I bought you something, but it's none of those things, and it's completely useless. And I was like, oh, did you buy me jewelry? And he's like, no. Which is good because I'm not a big jewelry person. Although, if you get I'm going to show you these. I've had these for a very long time. I'm going to say these I've had these for like a year. But these are earrings that I bought from Malojos. My little skulls. And she is an amazing jeweler. And I saw her interview on Christy Glass Knits, and immediately upon finishing watching that episode, I jumped on her website and I bought the earrings and I bought the ring. But my ring I cannot find, and I'm really freaking out about it. And it also has 3 skulls on it. Next time I find it, if I have it by next episode, I'll show it to you. But these are actually my favorite earrings that I wear all the time. And I've lost my train of thought completely. Anyway, I was talking about Supernatural, right? So I'm very excited now, right? Because he's told me he's bought me something for Christmas. And Christmas morning rolls around, and the kids give me this huge box. And I said, oh, no, that must be for you. And he says, no, that's your gift. And I thought, holy cow, this is like a huge box, right? And I open it up. And I'm not going to show it right now. I'm going to wait till next time. I open it up, and it's a 16-inch Dean Winchester doll. Think like Ken, okay? That's like a Ken doll, right? And I couldn't be happier. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing ever. This is so perfect. And I was telling Holly, I said, I'm going to crochet him a sweater. I'm going to crochet him a little beanie. I'm like, he's going to be so perfect for our cowl. So you will be seeing lots of Dean Winchester in the near future. So, yeah. So that is our cowl that we are starting February 1st, or literally like next week. February 1st through March 31st, and it is supernatural theme, which means you can either tie it into the show, or you can tie it into any supernatural context that you would like. You know, we're not limiting it just to the show. As long as you can tie it in to those two things, either supernatural the show or a supernatural context of some kind, then we'll be more than happy, and I will talk more about that next month when I record that episode. So all this, and I've showed you no crochet, but hang on to your hats, okay? Hang on to your hats, because Mama's got some finished objects. I'm going to start by showing you my socks. Not just one, but two. Bang. You see that? And these are the sock blockers that I got from either Inside Crochet or Simply Crochet. One of the magazines had them. These are my sock blockers, and I am desperately wanting some fancy wood sock blockers, but Faye has prohibited me from buying them because she says Mistress Badass is gonna make me some. And if you don't know who Mistress Badass is, it's her laser cutter, her wood laser cutter. So I'm waiting for those to have some awesome sock blockers. But look, these are my Christmas socks that I started December 1st. The pattern is Fabulous Socks by Martha Mitchell. Okay, it is a paid pattern. It's a wonderful pattern. I had zero issues with this pattern. Zero. They fit well. If you have seen them on my Instagram feed, you've seen them on my feet. You see that, you know, they are toe up and they are just very, very, very comfortable socks. Now, I will tell you this. I really screwed up the ribbing. You can see the ribbing is not perfect, but it doesn't really matter because it still fits and it's not loose. And so I'm not going to worry too much about those details. You don't see the ribbing anyway. One of the biggest things that I have learned from making these socks, and I don't know why I hadn't realized this before, I ripped back the ribbing 3 times because it wasn't coming out right, and I was so frustrated. I was telling myself, it's the same yarn, it's the same hook, nothing's changed. The first sock fits fine. Why is the second sock not fitting well in terms of the ribbing? Why am I struggling with this ribbing when I didn't struggle with it with the first sock? And so I walked away, and I remember I was walking the dogs, and I was thinking about it, and I came to the realization, which should have been something that I should have realized 1,000 years ago, is that my gauge is heavily dependent on where I am pain-wise with my hands. So the more pain I have, the looser I crochet. The less pain I have, the tighter I crochet. And so I know in the days that I was working on these socks, I was having some wrist pain and some hand pain. And so I now have to really think about, is today a good day to work on a project where it's gauge dependent? Because if it is, if my pain level is somewhere where I'm struggling, then I have no business crocheting a pair of socks, because that gauge is going to be way, way off. And it was like a light bulb moment. I can't even tell you guys how much I connected to things, and I thought, you know what? I've always said, you know, when I go to Vegas and I crochet so loose because I'm so relaxed and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's great. And I always said, you know, your mood really does, you know, factor in to your gauge. But when it comes in terms of pain, it does the opposite, because when I'm relaxed, I crochet loose, but when I'm in pain, I crochet loose as well. So I sat with that thought and I processed it, and yeah, it really made a difference, because when I went back that third time to work on the ribbing, my hands were doing a lot better, and I didn't struggle as much, and then I just knocked the ribbing out in one sitting. That's how crucial it was for me to figure that out. Like, come on, it should make sense, right? So this is my first FO, and again, if you are following me on Instagram, I have decided to do weekly goals for my WIPs, because I failed miserably last year in trying to motivate myself into finishing WIPs. I had zero success. I kept saying, I'm going to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And I did nothing got finished. And I really wanted to finish these socks. These socks are, I want to finish a pair of socks, people. I mean, I've want to be able to have a drawer full of socks. That's what I want. And this is a great pattern to start off with. If this is your first time trying to make socks, I would recommend this pattern. It's a great pattern. The yarn has been great. It is part of my haul that I brought from Yarndale. It's Rosie's Moments. I've shown this before. In the colorway Christmas is Coming. And as Haley said, I am now ready for Christmas 2019 because I have a pair of socks. So that's pretty awesome. FO number 2 I don't have because I crocheted that pattern. I crocheted this particular pattern for Heidi of Wolfie Wool Yarn. She had a trunk show at Sin City Knits, and I offered to crochet her some samples. And so this is a designer she introduced to me, which I really, really recommend her pattern. She has some really beautiful patterns. Her name is Rachel Newen, and it's Rachel Newen Designs. It is the Enchanted Rose Cowl, which is a gorgeous pattern. Gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. Check out the pictures on my Instagram, which I will also put a couple here so that you can see. Here's a look at it. Now, what's great about this pattern is you can make these sections, you can make multiples of these sections. If you just want to make 3 stripes, you can make 3 stripes. If you want to make it bigger, you can make it bigger. I think I ended up with 4 stripes altogether, and I love the way it worked out. This pattern introduced me to 2 new stitches that I had never done, and I really liked them. They made the cowl very squishy, and Heidi picked the colors. Oh, I think Heidi's husband picked the colors. So Heidi sent me the yarn, and I loved the combination. I really liked the way it came out. So this is my second FO, the Enchanted Rose Cowl. And like I said, it's a really, really nice pattern. It is a paid pattern and totally worth it. Now, going back to what I was saying about setting goals, weekly goals, and how that has helped me to finish 2 projects. This next project is one that I started for my own cowl last year, early last year, I think around this time, which was for the fortune cookie cowl. And it was a pattern that I fell in love with from the second I saw it. Again, I follow Christy Glassnitz, and she was heading, I think, to either see him, or there was like one of her life stories was she was talking about how he was going to release this pattern, and I immediately was like, I need this pattern in my life. The pattern is the Hypnotic Eye by Alexander Reynoso, who is Alex Creates on Instagram and everywhere. We started the pattern, and I've shown progress of this project throughout, and what ended up happening is I ran out of yarn because I started using yarn that was in my stash. And it's not like I did not shop for the yarn specific to the pattern. I just pulled what I had, and I had oink pigments in my stash, one called Don't Be Coy, and I don't remember the name of the second and third yarns because it requires 3 colors. But anyway, I ran out of yarn, and I reached out to the dyer, who I love oink pigments. They make amazing, beautiful yarn. And they were moving their studio, so they had a lot on their plate, and then they were traveling to a show. So by the time I got the yarn, it had been like 3 or 4 weeks. Time had passed, where I ended up putting the project to the side, and so I never quite got back to it. So I wanted to finish this project, and so finally I made it my week 2 goal to finish my Hypnotic shawl. my Hypnotic Eye shawl. And I have to tell you, this is ranking as one of my favorite pieces that I've ever crocheted. It to me is like an art piece and a wearable art piece, and I'm just in love with it. So this is my Hypnotic Eye. This is a huge shawl. It's huge. I can't get the whole thing on screen. It's so big. The yarn is so beautiful. The pattern is very interesting. If you are looking to have a go at something that's interesting, I love this pattern. But I like repetitive crochet. I have zero issue with that. I know some people get bored, Zelda, but I find it very therapeutic. I am not in a hurry to finish. I want to enjoy the repetitive motion of the stitching. So if you look here, it's actually 2 yarns, and in between the Don't Be Coy, which is a colorful yarn, you're gonna see that there is this gray yarn that's surface crochet on top. And then the joining of each of the wings is very interesting, and Alex actually has a video on how to do the joining, because you have a way to join on the right side and a way to join on the wrong side that you must be very observant on how you do. You have to watch his video, because I find that the video definitely clarifies how to do it, and the detail at the end is beautiful. I mean, it's just a beautiful pattern. It really is. The eyelets are created. Oops. Give the shawl a really beautiful detail. I mean, it is a stunning piece. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the shawl that I'll be taking to Stitches, and it's one of these really big shawls that are going to keep you warm, and so happy. I didn't even block it. The only thing I did is I steamed block the little ends of it, the points here on each side. That's all I've done. I'm not going to block the shawl. I don't need to stretch it out. I don't need it to be bigger. It's already big enough, and I love it. I will tell you this. There is a difference that you can see between the original yarn that I used, and I don't know that you'll be able to see it on this video. The original yarn that I used, which is here, and then the second batch of yarn that I got, which is here. Can you see the difference? It's a little bit darker. So this wing is all the second batch of yarn. It's a lot more blue-gray, but I don't care. I mean, I think it's beautiful. I think things like that add to the uniqueness of the piece, and like I said, I really love this as an art piece. The back of it is very different than the front. So that's the back, and then this is the front. And I love this Don't Be Coy colorway so much. I think I may purchase more and do something else just with the colorway, because it's such a great colorway. So that is my 3rd FO. I mean, that's just amazing, you guys. I finished 2 projects that were on my WIP list, and that I fell in love with this pattern. I really did. And you know, I remember taking it to the yarn shop when Oink Pigments was there to show them that I needed the yarn, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, it's so great. And of course, you know, everybody references the Stephen West one, but you know, I'm not a knitter, so when I see a pattern like that, when I saw the Stephen West eyeball shawl, I thought, wow, that's really cool. And I think that's why I was so excited to see it as a crochet project, because I want to make something like that. I want to do that. And I wasn't about to go learn how to knit just so I could make that particular shawl. Now, you know, I'm on my little mini knitting journey, so you never know. But I'm so thankful to you, Alex, that you did this pattern. And I can't wait to see if other people jump on the Hypnotic Eye bandwagon, and you get a lot more people making the pattern. So that's FO number 3. And then I have what I'm considering my next FO, which is my newest set of pins. And I am missing one of them, so let me go I've mentioned before that I am really excited about the fact that I will be having, that my pins will be at Vogue Knitting Live this year and at Stitches West. They will be in Lady Di Yarn's booth, and that's Diane's booth, and I'm so lucky that I was able to get a place in her booth to show my pins. And so I have some new pins. The first one, which I think is perfect when you go to a yarn festival, because who's gonna be on a yarn diet when you go to a yarn festival? So this is my yarn diet pin. It is a nice big pin so that you can actually wear and like have everybody know that you are there for business. You are there to spend some money. I have my, to add to the shawl, sock, and sweater project, I now have a hat project one. There you go. And I have a very nice good yarn vibes pin. Really like this one. And my craft with integrity pin, as well as my current favorite pin, which is my Frida Kahlo inspired Viva la Vida crochet. There you go. So these will also be in the Etsy shop. I just have to do an update. I've got to photograph these, get them up at the shop, and then I will post an announcement on Instagram that they are available. But all of these will also be available in the Etsy shop. I have an additional 5 new designs coming that will be debuting at Stitches West, which I'm really excited about. If you are coming to Stitches West, please stop by. I will be at Lady Di Yarn's booth. And yeah, come say hi to me. I will be there Thursday, Friday. Zelda and I are going to be at the pajama party. So look for us and come hang out. And we'll be there Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be pretty epic. It's going to be so much fun. We have some ideas about how we're going to, what we're going to do that week. So yeah, those are my FOs. And now let's move on to some WIPs. The first WIP I want to talk about is my entry into the sock theme Cowl 2019. And it is my pair of New Beginning socks, which are actually slipper socks, which somebody contacted me about it, and I said those are completely legit. If you want to crochet a pair of slipper socks, then go ahead. I mean, they have a toe, heel, cuff. So I have this pattern called Slipper Ankle Socks by Jennifer Toombs, and it is a paid pattern. That's the name of it right there. And this is what I'm making. They are worsted weight socks, and so far no issues with the pattern. I have this much. I have a toe, and I have a body, and then I need a heel. And I will tell you this, the sizing, there's only one size, and I think it's a 9, women's 9-10. I wear a size 9, but I have like a flat foot. I measured it. I don't think I'm quite a 9. And so originally I did the heel per pattern, and it was way too big. So I took some repeats off of a certain part of the pattern that if you buy, you'll see where, right here. And then you sew up the ankle part, and then that seems to be the way that it's going to fit better. So I it's very customizable is what I'm trying to say very poorly, is that it's a great pattern. It's a great beginner pattern. It's my first time making this kind of sock, so I'm really looking forward to it. And it's a new beginning for me as well, because I'm tired of having cold feet, and I'm tired of always having to look for like good socks to just like have while I'm sitting on the couch. Most of my socks are pretty thin, and so I'm beginning the year with a good solid pair of cozy wool socks. This is 100% wool, and I don't remember the name, and I've lost the ball band, so when I remember it, when they're finished, I will share what kind of yarn it is, but I know it's 100% wool. It's a little, you can feel it, you can smell it, and I am looking forward to having these done this week. So that is WIP number 1, my slipper ankle socks by Jennifer Toombs. And again, I want to remind you that for every episode from now on, if you go on to the Crochet Luna Ravelry group and you look up on the upper right hand side and you'll see bundles, every episode will have its own bundle with all of the patterns that I talk about. So even though I'm not going to list them in the down bar, I will include the link for the bundle for this episode. So every pattern that I've talked about, you will see there on Ravelry. In case you're interested in going to get that pattern, just go to that episode's bundle and all of the patterns will be there. I'm so thirsty. Yes. I don't know what is going on, but I feel like I can't drink enough water. So not only am I drinking a ton of water, I am like going to the bathroom 9,000 times a day. Oh, but let me show you this. I'm keeping these socks in this gorgeous bag that I got at Yarndale from Mothy and the Squid. Isn't that beautiful? Little canvas bag with a pocket. But isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I wish I would have bought, they had another one. I wish I would have bought that one as well. But yeah, it's just a little sock bag with a little rounded bottom. But I'm loving project bags make me happy. I realize that. I like a good project bag. I like a good project bag that fits the theme of what I'm doing. And even though this has sea creatures, it still feels, it's new. It's the first time I use it, and it's got these really calming colors, and so it's making me happy, and I love it. Now, I have something that I need to talk to you guys about. I have tried to make 3 sweaters. Yes, I've tried to make 3 sweaters in the past 4 months. And I haven't really talked about it because it's been so frustrating that at one point I thought, you know what, maybe crochet sweaters are not for me, for my body type. Now, I want to exclude the blurred line sweater because that is not a sweater that falls into this discussion. Why is that? Because the 3 sweaters that I tried to make were either worsted weight or chunky weight. Because I thought at one point, I'll make a chunky weight sweater because that's going to work out really fast and blah, blah, blah. One sweater was graded up to 4X. But when you work the pattern, it was clear that, and I'm not a pattern designer, so I can't speak to this, but this is what it seems like to me. Just from my experience in the fashion world, when I was working with my best friend Frank, who is a fashion designer, they make a sample for a certain type of measurement, which is like a 23-inch waist, I think it was at the time. So they have these proportions, right? They make the sample. Then they find the model that fits those samples. And that's the sample that gets sold, you know, based on that sample, the dress gets sold, right? And then it's graded to different sizes. So I think what ends up happening, because obviously a crochet designer doesn't have the time to crochet a sweater in every single size, that it's done in the small and then the math is done to make the bigger sizes. But I think that there's something that is lost in translation from the math to the real world. And so I think that if you don't make that sweater in the 5X, which maybe the math is right, but maybe it just looks like shit when you make it based on those stitch counts in the end. So in the end, you're going to end up with a hideous sweater. So the first pattern that I tried was completely wrong. There was sections of it missing and actually made 0 sense. So I don't know that the designer actually ever tested that sweater in that size, or it was ever made in that size, or that the instructions were even reviewed in that size. And I contacted the designer, who very kindly replied that she was going to look into it, and I told her I would help her, because I took some notes on the pages that I had worked up to, and I said I'll keep my notes, and then I'll help you with that pattern. And she was very, very, very responsive, and she was very nice, and she actually made a mention that in all the times that she has been contacted about a problem in a pattern, that never has she been contacted with somebody who was less angry about it. And I'm like, I'm not angry, like I'm just wanting to point out that I think that there's an issue with the pattern. So I will be doing that sweater because it's a great sweater. And then I started another sweater in bulky weight yarn. And let me tell you, if the look that I was going for was a Pillsbury Doughboy, then I definitely achieved it, because this thing is hideous. Hideous. And I just want like a nice chunky sweater, and I thought that this is what I was making, and it just looks horrible. So that's gonna get frogged. And I basically finished almost all of the sweater, and I was trying it on. You know what it's like? It's like you're hoping that something changes, like something magical is going to happen between the time that you finish the sweater and you put it on, that even though you know your crocheting is looking like ass, that when you put it on, it's going to magically look beautiful. That's sort of like the ride that I was on. I thought, I'm just going to keep pushing through it. I'm going to put this damn thing on, and it's going to look mad beautiful. Hell no. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Think Pillsbury Doughboy, and don't push me in the stomach, because I'm not going to go hee-hee, Anyway, I started a third sweater. Not even going to talk about it. The same shit. It's not working. These sweaters and these bigger sizes are problematic. They are problematic. And I'm just really frustrated in the sweater department. But, I'm sure we'll figure it out, and we'll find that pattern that I'm going to come to you and say, look, if you're a curvy person with some boobage, then this one's going to work for you. That's my hope. That's what I'm hoping. All of that mess just to talk about my second WIP. And I'm really happy with this WIP. So in my searches for trying to find something to make in a bulky weight yarn, because I just want to make something that looks good in bulky weight yarn, I found a KT and the Squid pattern that specifically says plus size, okay? And it's the Pacific pullover. You see that? Pacific pullover plus size, right? And it looks like that. And it actually, I think it doesn't have sleeves, okay? It's just a little shell with this cowl neck, which looks really cute. I really like it. And I started working it, and so far, so good. I think it was like the day after Christmas. It was one of those crazy sales. Went to Joann's, and they had Deborah Norville Premier Yarns, chunky for $1.99. Can't beat it, right? And I found it in this sort of like army green color, which I really like. It's a category 5 sweater, so it's considered bulky. And this is what I have so far. It's got a really pretty stitch. I really like that. And it's bottom up, which is cool. And I'm not hating it, and it's not problematic in any way, and so I'm enjoying it. It's really soft. So I figured we will continue with this pattern and hope for the best. So that is, and it is a paid pattern. It's the Pacific pullover, like I said. Here you go. See another picture of it. And I think it's something that you can throw on, and I want, because I love cowl necks, and so it's got a cowl neck, and I can wear a long sleeve, sort of like a vest. So that is my second WIP. Next, I want to talk about Yarnopolis, which is my acquisition segment. You would think I would have a lot of stuff because it was Christmas. I knew. Christmas was pretty tame here, so I do have some lovely things that I just actually received that I want to share with you. And you've seen me drinking out of this really gorgeous mug. This was sent to me by Debbie, who is the Canadian crocheter, and the artist is Benjamin Chi. I love it. It's such a beautiful piece. I love it. So she reached out to me and said, oh, I'm going to pop in a little package for you. She sent me some beautiful stuff. So this is the mug that she sent. She sent me this beautiful blueberry tea. And she sent me, my husband's really excited about this, and so, but I told him I can't open it until I show you guys. Spicy ancho chili, handcrafted Canadian salt. This is awesome. I love it. And then she sent me this. Oh my God, look at her. Is she not beautiful? Look at her, and look. She's got a little monkey on her back. And this little guy here, this is a parrot, right? That little parrot pops out, and you can pop in, oops. You can pop in her little heart. It's such a little art piece. I love it. I love it so much, Debbie. You don't even know. I'm such a huge Frida Kahlo fan, and unique pieces like this are just, I'm always on the lookout for them, and so I love it. I love it. She also sent me some yarn, and I'll show you that. She said that this person is really local to her, and what's really funny is that I always say to my husband, oh my gosh, look at how beautiful this yarn is. And he's like, whatever. I showed him this, and he was like, that's really, really nice. He's like, I really like the colors. It's Crooked Kitchen yarn in Bluebeard at Night is the colorway. Now look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I really, really like that. It's got all these beautiful colors. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So, love this. This is the tag. And it is a light fingering. 75% merino and 25% nylon. Oh, I can make socks with this, but this might be too beautiful to make socks. What do you guys think? I don't know. This is beautiful stuff. So then she also sent me 3 balls of Drops Baby Merino which I've always wanted to try drops. I've never tried drops yarn. Just a beautiful gray. I have 3 balls of this. And she sent me this beautiful sock yarn. Look at the colors in that. Very pretty. So thank you so much, Debbie. I so appreciate you sending me these things. I'm always blown away that anybody wants to send me anything, and so to receive such beautiful gifts, I'm very appreciative of. So thank you so much. I also got some gifts from Zelda, yarny gifts from Zelda, and I'm not sure if I showed you guys this one before, but it is a Malabrigo worsted in the colorway Intenso. And it sure is. Look at how beautiful that red and that pink is. And she gifted me on Saturday when I saw her. Let me tell you, she had this Miss Babs Wowza cake. It was off the hook. It was so freaking beautiful. It's like 600 yards in that cake. Some ridiculous yardage, and oh my gosh. And so I've been wanting to purchase some Queen's Yarn Boutique yarn for a long time. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. And she had, this is the label, Queen's Yarn Boutique. She had 2 of these, and I was drooling over them, and she very kindly gifted me one. And this is on her Adore worsted. And I don't see a color. Oh, Crazy Peacock is the colorway. Look at that. Look at all the colors in there. I love that it's worsted. I love how colorful it is, but the saturation is just right. You know, I love it. The blues, the greens, the yellows. It's just a gorgeous colorway. So I very excited to work with this yarn. I've been watching Rochelle for a long time, her podcast, and if you want to see an incredible evolution of a person on YouTube in the fibro community, you should watch Rochelle. So when I first started watching Rochelle, she had in her background just a wall of yarn. And I want to say it was all acrylic. It was all like red heart yarn. And it was beautiful to look at because, you know, it's all the yarn colors. And she was like, I'm never going to knit. I'm not a knitter. And all of a sudden she starts knitting, right? And she starts making beautiful things. And then all of a sudden she starts dyeing yarn and she starts making beautiful yarn. And so it's such a beautiful evolution of a creative person, of an artist, that you really see the process, and it's wonderful. So I'm really lucky to have Rochelle's yarn, and definitely will make future purchases. I just love it. I really do. And then I saw Tara, who's Mitchell's Creations. Tara is someone whose yarn I've admired always. And she dyed the colorway for my Crochetcation. And so I saw this colorway on her Etsy shop, and it was on a fingering weight base. And I asked her if she would do it on worsted, and she said she was going to try. And oh, it's just beautiful. Okay, so this is called Boughs of Holly. And it is on a worsted weight on her Bayou base. And it looks like this. It's so beautiful. This combination of this color, teal, I don't know, with this red is one of my all-time favorite combos. So you've got this going on here, right? And then let me take you down to this side where you've got this going on here, and you've got all of these colors in different saturations on this side. So it is, to me, one of the most beautiful colorways that I have seen in a long time. I loved it. I love it. And I was gonna make, I was thinking about making another mango slouch with this. But now that I have I'm building up a little bit of a worsted weight collection. I think I want to look for like a either one skein project or a worsted weight shawl. I had a pattern in mind for this after I said no mango slouch, which I'll show you, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm not 100% sold on it. And it is by Tammy Larrabee. Tammy Larrabee has a lot of really beautiful patterns. This is, I believe, a paid pattern. It's called the Tegan Cowl. And it looks like that. And what attracted me to it were the buttons and how much texture you see on these post stitches right here. It just looked like an interesting make. So I really like this pattern, but I think it might do better with a solid color yarn. So I'm not 100% sold, but this has got to be like a really special project, a perfect pattern for this, because I love it. So then I took a trip up to Kat's Craft Cottage in Julian, California, and I will talk more about that on my next episode, because Kat and I are working on putting together a little bit of a crochet retreat. We have dates, I just don't have a lot of details, but I took some footage of her craft shop, her yarn shop, and I will see if I can include it here. But I found these stitch markers that are shaped like socks. Aren't these cute? And I think I put one of them in my, yeah, I do. Here's one. Look how cute these are. My little socky stitch markers. I bought that, and I bought yarn that I cannot find, and so I need to look for it. So hopefully the yarn destroyer didn't get to it. But that's it for my acquisitions. Thank you so much, Debbie. I so love my gift. Thank you to Zelda for sharing her yarn with me and gifting me these beautiful yarns. And I will move on to Pattern Palooza. I'm really excited about this episode's Pattern Palooza. I'm going to introduce you to some new to me designers and some really great projects. So the first one is a free pattern. It's called the Ribbed Slouch Beanie by Vanessa Fong. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. Look at how pretty that is. It seems to have a lot of texture. Here's the name of it again. And she has a lot of crochet patterns. Then I have this. So again, Sweater Journey. The Amaranth by Nomadic Stitches. I believe she is a Mexican-born designer, but she lives in Europe. Where does she live? If I can find it, I will put it down here. So this is Amaranth. This is a paid pattern. And I love the way that looks. It does have some bobbles, which I have issues with the bobbles because I don't like looking at too many bobbles together. But this pattern seems to have them spaced out enough that they don't bother me. Let's see. And it goes up to 3XL. So hopefully you can see here the shape right there. That is Amaranth. And this one is, I think, going to be a perfect summer top. It's the Spring Sleeveless Blouse by Rosalba, who is Skein and Sticks design. This is also a paid pattern. I love this section right here. I think it's really pretty, and I like that. I like that top. I want to make it. Now, this is the one I'm really, okay, there's two I'm super excited about, but I'm really excited about this one because one of the reasons I'm not going to do blurred lines yet. One of the reasons I'm stepping back from blurred lines has nothing to do with the pattern. It has more to do with when I think about the things that look good on me. A very close neckline is not something that I enjoy, and blurred lines has a very close neckline. So I like this neckline. I like boat necklines, and I like V necklines. I think they are a better look for me. You know, I got the boobage. I'm bigger on top, so I found this ribbit tee by Detroit Knots that I am in love with. See that? See how it's got the V right here? Like that. And you can probably make this as long as you want. It's got a little bit of a sleeve, which I like. And this is also a paid pattern. It's called the Ribbit Tee. So really excited about this one. This one also goes up to an extra large size. And then I am really excited about the Aztec sweater, the Aztec crochet sweater by Nomadic Stitches again. Look at that color work, short sleeve that you can also make into long sleeve, which I think is amazing. See that? Oh, I am loving the sweater, loving it, loving it, loving it. It's Aztec. It is also a paid pattern. And like I said, I will put all of these in the bundle that I'm going to put up for this episode. You'll see all of these patterns and all of the patterns that I've talked about. So that's it. I will tell you that when I went to visit Kat in Julian, I took a nasty, nasty fall. Okay, so it snowed for Christmas, and then the sun came out, so I guess that combination turns a lot of that snow into ice. And the sidewalk where I was walking had strips that had been, I guess the city comes out and clears that, and then there's parts of it that still have what they call black ice, which is that slippery ice. I had no idea. I don't like snow. I don't deal with snow. So I was walking and I was looking at the cute store, and then I went face first. My legs went one way, like opposite of each other, and then I went to put my hands down because if not, I was going to be making out with the concrete. And it was one of the most excruciating falls I have ever taken in my life, because my hands, my rheumatoid affected hands, no longer bend a certain way. So I don't have flexibility, like to, you know, like if you get on all fours to do like some yoga pose and you put your hands down, I can't do that. It's extremely painful, right? So I landed with my hands down so that it forced them into like a 90-degree angle, right? And I swear to you, I have not had pain like that. And this poor man was trying to help me up, and I was just like, it's okay, I got it. Like, I'm like, don't touch me because I am going to just cry. It was so freaking painful. I at one point thought maybe I had broken my wrist, but thank God I didn't. I just, you know, I lack a lot of flexibility in my joints, and so that was a really nasty fall. But I got to see beautiful yarn at Kat's shop, and then Julian is known for their apple pies. the most delicious apple pies. Like, there are lines out the door of these places that make these apple pies. And I didn't want to wait, so I went down further, going out of town, and the Julian, what's it called? The Julian Apple Company, Apple Pie Company. I don't know, there's like a big place that makes apple pies, and those apple pies make it down to Escondido and different places in San Diego that you can buy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop by there and have an apple cider and a slice of pie. It was so good. So good. So anybody who makes it out to Julian, you've got to come out and have some pie because it is delicious. So that wraps it up. Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the beautiful comments that you have left on my videos. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I so appreciate it. Let's make 2019 the best crochet year ever. And my name is Claudia, and I am Crochet Luna on Instagram and Ravelry. Look for me in those places because that's where I'm most active. And I would say crochet on, and I will see you next time. Bye. So here is a little bit of Julian. Look at that blue sky, but you can see that there is snow over there. Can you see the little hills? Like I said, this is a beautiful town. See if I can zoom in. Can you guys see the snow? Yeah. And it is windy. You can probably hear the wind. And it's cold. Look. Pieces of ice on the ground. You know what's really funny is that I am not a snow person. I don't like being cold. I don't like being in the snow. So when I decided, I contacted Kat, said I'm going to go up there. I thought, I wonder if there's going to be any snow on the ground. Because I am not ready to drive on any of that. But you can see it's all here. It's hard. It's like, oh my gosh, can you hear the crunching? Look at, let me touch it. Oh my god, I'm touching snow, you guys. Look at that. It's cold. That's the first time I have touched snow, I would say, in a good 20 plus years. That's pretty bad, huh? Anyway, I will see you in a little bit. So now we're coming up to a cute little house that's been here since 1897. And this is now a little dress shop of sorts. Isn't that cute? I'm not sure if this is like a resale shop or what it is, but look how cute that is. And then, oh, here's a cool map of Julian. I mean, this is not a big town, but it's super cute. I don't know, shall we go in? Because we're here for yarn. Let's see. Look, Wednesday special. Nice shirt. Ooh, this is a nice one, you guys. Look at this one. I like this one. Let me see if I can show it to you. That's kind of cool, huh? Might have to come back and get something like that. T-shirts. Just nice little clothing. We'll have to go in there a little bit later. So I'm at Kat's Craft Cottage in Julian. I'm in the yarn shop, and I wanted to take you around, show you some of the really cool things that she has here. Beautiful yarn, of course. She's got these really great size bags. Oh my god, look at the size of this thing. It's huge. It's called a Mary Poppins bag. God, it's huge, you guys. Oh, that is so nice. Some samples. So Forbidden Fiber Co. is one of the yarns that you can find here. I really like her stuff. She does a lot of Harry Potter themed yarns. I think these ones, this is Ancient Arts, and I believe there's a charitable thing that goes along with the purchase of these yarns, which is pretty cool. See that? That is so cool. And then here's some samples. Oh, look, she's got some Crochet Luna bags. She's got 2 left. I really love this print. Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast has the only other bag made out of this fabric. So there's one in the UK and one in Julian. The shop is stocked full of really cool stuff. Look at these buttons. Those are beautiful buttons. Oh, look at this one. How cute is that? Oh, I love that one. She's got these beautiful earrings here. Oops. That's the artist. And more beautiful yarn. And then we've got cool. Oh, look at these yarn bowls.
Book to Julian. I've got a half-page ad with my contact information. The best way to get a hold of me is call or text.
So I found, look at this yarn, you guys. Afghan cashmere, hand spun on a spindle. This stuff is beautiful. See that? And then look at this. I can't even tell you how soft that is. Look at this. Oh, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, this is probably the most interesting yarn I've ever seen. It has feathers felted into the fiber.
You got my glove?
Yes.
So
Okay.
this yarn has feathers. You can see here Kat has a scarf. She says you have to work with a really big hook or big needles, but look at the beautiful color of this. There you go. Feathers and yarn.